Alright, hopefully you watched the first video on the G, C, and D chords and you kind of get comfortable playing these three different shapes. Maybe you've got them all clear, maybe they're still a little bit muddled. Doesn't matter too much at this point. It may take a little bit of time before everything gets, so you can hear all six notes real clearly and there aren't like buzzing or muted notes or anything like that. But what we want to do now, even if that isn't perfect, we can still work on the rhythm. Now, when you're working on the rhythm, you don't want to worry too much about clarity. If all the strings aren't ringing out, not a big problem with this. We can still, with good rhythm, even an incomplete chord can sound good and get the people dancing. So the easiest switch we're going to do to start out with is just going to be from G to C. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to keep a steady beat here. At some point we're going to be adding in like a drum machine or a metronome, but for now I'm just going to kind of keep it slow and steady and follow along. And the first change, what we're going to do is 4 G chords followed by 4 C add 9 chords. I'm just going to go back and forth between G and C add 9. So here we go. G, C add 9. Alright, so there's G to C. That's probably the easiest switch in here. It's just moving those two fingers up and down. 3 and 4 just stay and put. Pretty easy. Now, going from G to D, or C add 9 to D, they're both about same level of difficulty. So let's do G to D. This gets a little bit harder because there's not as many fingers in common, but there still is one. This third finger, it's on a D note right there. That's in the D chord. It's also in the G chord. It's also in the C add 9 chord. So this finger is going to stay put no matter what for all these chord changes. And this might be a little bit tricky to do when you pick up one finger. It's, your third finger automatically flies off. But try to keep that one down the whole time. So as I'm switching chords, that's my anchor point. So that one never comes up. Alright, so the G to D is a little bit more challenging than G to C add 9. There's a little bit more finger movement, but the more you do this, it starts to become second nature and you can get to it back and forth real quick. And you'll use these chord shapes a lot. So let's play this a couple times. Same thing we were just doing here. G 4 times. D 4 times. G. I've tightened up my swing a lot on this one because there's a D chord involved. So even when I'm going to the G chord, which would be easy to do with a wide swing, I'm keeping it tight anyway just so it fits with the D chord. There we go. So that's kind of the first step of this. Well, second step, I guess you'd say. First step, you know, get comfortable with it, figure out, remember which notes you need to strum, and then take them in pairs, try to keep a steady beat, and change from one to the other without slowing the beat down. For example, you know, not doing there's a pause a lot while I switch. You want to get rid of those pauses. So that your right hand's just chopping away time. And then your left hand's just got to keep up with the changes. All right. So that's all for this one. We're going to come back next and get a little more spice in it.